What is endgame content? Games in general have a cycle of core mechanics exploited during the gameplay experience. They are known for having a main concept or story, and once you've beaten that main story, then the question becomes, what replayability exists in this game? Many games are just so fun that you want to keep playing them, so the developers will create some sort of endgame, but this is a bit different for most gacha games. For most gacha games, you can buy your way into power, or simply play long enough to make it. The longer you play a gacha game, the further along you can progress and get stronger. Even in Wuthering Waves, if you level up your Chixia to level 90, give her the best echo gear and a decent weapon, she can really put in work. There becomes a level in most gacha games where the investment per dollar inserted outweighs what you get out of the game. It requires a mode to actually use these characters that you've invested so much time into, so let's address the question, what is endgame? I'm Void Enigma, and I'll be addressing exactly how endgame should be approached and how Genshin Impact failed where Wuthering Waves succeeded. Let's talk about Genshin Impact, for example. Certain characters just make the game easy. That's just the sad truth of the matter. All character upgrades were not created equally. C2 Ayaka, C2 Raiden, C2 Nahida, C2 Furina, C2 Neuvillette, C2 Arlecchino. Notice an ongoing trend here. If you have even two of these characters that I just mentioned, you'll be able to make a diverse team with each of them and clear all endgame content that Genshin Impact has to offer, if you even consider these game modes endgame. This means that there's a price tag to the minimal investment to have an easy time in Genshin Impact. Of course, you don't need to do any of this or buy into any constellations, and you can just beat the game as a purely free-to-play player, but this will require a sound strategy, good team building, and a decent amount of knowledge about the game's mechanics and certain gimmicks. Some of these C2 characters need their signature weapon, some don't, but the truth of the matter is, these specific constellations make the character miles stronger than they already were, and it will allow them to steamroll content left, right, and center. That's just if you have one of these characters. Imagine if you have a full team of C2 characters, and imagine if you just have one busted C6 character. With a whale C6 Shenhe, you can even make Aloy clear the abyss with one burst per boss. The power behind certain constellations can be astounding. More and more characters coming out with stronger C6 constellations that make the game trivial. Now, fun is an aspect that is different per player, but many argue that C6 constellations for characters like Yelan, Furina, and Neuvillette just take the fun out of the game. They can unleash such power in such a short amount of time that it doesn't feel like there's a challenge to the game anymore. I don't want to go directly into the schematics about what is considered fun, but if you spend $1,000 on a character, then you can expect to be able to use that character fully in at least certain aspects of the game. The Abyss timer is 3 minutes. If you clear it any faster, you don't get any extra rewards. So now, you can clear the Abyss in 30 seconds rather than 3 minutes. What that means is that you've just reduced the amount of time that you have to play the game. Sure, it can be a blast the first few times that you do use the character, even for the first week, even for the first month, but will it just get boring after some time if you just go in, kill the boss, move on, and then just stop playing the game because there's nothing else to do? Wouldn't it be great if you'd be able to take on tough bosses that let you fully utilize your power that you spent your hard-earned Primo Gems on? Or money. Does this mean you're literally paying to not play the game at this point? Let's return to the topic at hand. What is endgame? Hoyoverse released a new endgame and dubbed it the Imaginarium Theater. This is a new game mode that will have the shared rewards with the Spiral Abyss and offer a new mode that is considered to be endgame. The Spiral Abyss has the strongest enemies in the game, but through the power of whaling or just playing the game for long enough to actually trivialize all of the concepts, it becomes trivial. You would think a new endgame would offer a challenge for the players. It has been 4 years of the player base asking for it, so finally, we will get something to really push our beloved characters to the limit. Well, that was a wish that was just never meant to be. The new endgame mode could have been a concept that lets you use your most powerful characters and face an actual challenge, which can be implemented in many ways. While I do believe it can be difficult to balance the player experience between a Giga Whale and a new player, but what's hilarious is, this is easily done in their sister game, Honkai Star Rail. The simulated universe has 2 additional game modes, which offers buffs, strategies to abuse, and it's very fun, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's extremely difficult in the higher levels, and you are more reliant on picking the right buffs and crafting a good team than the actual character's power. While it's clearable without whaling, if you are a whale and you've spent a lot of money on your characters to get into a high level, you'll have a much more diverse experience and you'll have an edge when clearing this content. You won't have to specifically craft your characters in a certain way using the buffs, but you have a little more freedom to kind of do what you want there. They aren't forced to abuse the buffing system, as they could just go in with their E6 characters for a further advantage, and on top of that, they'll be able to get rewards for clearing higher levels. There are hardly any complaints with this game mode, as it is very challenging and rewarding when you clear it, and it just offers a new, fresh experience. But Genshin didn't implement that. So surely, they added another game mode, right? Like an endless monster killing spree with a high score where it gets more and more difficult the further you go. Or a boss rush where the bosses are much tougher and require some thought to actually beat. Or literally any of their previous Vagabond events that actually let you bring in co-op players to take on hard bosses, allowing you to take on debuffs for a more diverse and rewarding experience. Nope, none of that happened. Instead, they implemented rules. You can only use these elements, you can only use level 70 plus characters, and you can only use each character twice. Man, it wouldn't be a Hoyo game without their stipulations and rules. Not only that, but the buffs given to this game mode are just horrendous. Nothing changes how fun a character is, and it's simply buffs like in the Abyss, but somehow worse. Because of these rules that were added, it is both frustrating for season day 1 players and those who actually just started the game. Because season day 1 players can just steamroll through it and it doesn't even matter what you give them, it's just that easy. Or you won't even be able to play it if you don't have at least 12 of these characters built. Like, they found a way to piss off both sides, which is an amazing feat, to be honest. Now, as I said earlier, it is hard to appease both whales and the casuals, but that's why a roguelite mode is the best game mode that a developer can introduce. It's a random dungeon-like concept that is unique every time, and it evolves the characters to your real-time choices. You will never truly have the same 2 runs twice, and you can play a character in such a unique way. You can add in unique Easter eggs, unique concepts, like the actual limit to this is endless. This is one of the many endgame options that Kuro Games gives players in Wuthering Waves, and the crazy thing is, you don't even have to be in the endgame, as they give you the trial characters, and the buffs that you receive from playing this mode are insane. Insane enough to the point where you can clear it with those trial characters. They updated 1.1 to offer more unique scenarios, and the characters have upgrades for you to choose from, and there are specific echoes for differing playstyles, and overall, it's just a good time. Not only that, but it updates once every update, so each time that you actually play it with a new update, there's going to be new characters, new concepts, a new theme overall. And to make things worse, weaker and lesser used characters have a chance to shine in this game mode. What if I told you that Vauge is the strongest character in this mode with a certain setup, and that Taochi is actually able to clear the highest mode with ease? Well, if you get the right buffs, that is. The fun and flexibility of this mode is insane, as even if you're fresh in the game, they give you trial characters to use from, so you can have fun either way, as I mentioned earlier. In addition to that, the other endgame mode are the holograms. I don't know if this is going to be a cakewalk when they actually introduce Union level 60 and you'll be able to get your characters to level 90, but either way, these bosses do require you to learn their boss patterns to beat them, or you can just nuke them down if you're lucky to dodge all of their one-hit KOs. But another thing that was added are World Elite mobs. These mobs are level 100 and glowing red, letting you know just how powerful they are immediately. You'll randomly come across them when actually playing the game or exploring new areas, and they are on the same level of difficulty as the holograms that you face. You will get an achievement for killing them, as well as a guaranteed echo, which means that you probably want to do it. And there is no greater feeling than beating one of these monsters, even if it took you anywhere between 1 hour and 10 days. I have faith that Kuro Game will unleash more endgame modes once we actually get to a higher union level, and even if they don't, we still have the elusive realm to fall back on every update. We can experience a unique roguelike combat system with new characters that we don't even have to pull for. This makes you wonder, why couldn't Genshin do the same? I am 100% sure that they would have gotten a much better reception if they added a new mode that lets the players get unique upgrades and unlock unique concepts. Even in the elusive realm, you can just instantly unlock further sequences to actually buff the characters. They could have easily literally just copy and pasted the Abyss, but this time, with each floor upgrade, you get unique upgrades for the characters, you unlock constellations. It will just let you at least try new things with new characters. Honestly, I am also so tired of the circular arena to fight monsters. Even Wuthering's elusive realm feels more alive. There's even a game mode where you have to swap between two battlefields to protect the monolith thing. After all, it's an open world game. Why restrict us to a mere arena for every game mode? It really makes me wonder who is behind these decisions for Genshin Impact and how ignorant they can be to the concepts of gaming. The new endgame mode was so lazily done, like, who even approved this? Meanwhile, their sister game, Honkai Star Rail, has about 5 endgame modes, each being vastly different. Now, my Star Rail account isn't as established as my Genshin account, but I'm pretty far up there as being an endgame player. The Memory of Chaos floors I can clear normally, but Pure Fiction and the Simulated Universe modes, yeah, those are a pain for me to clear, but when I do clear it, I feel a sense of accomplishment. When I play Genshin now and clear yet another beating bag of a boss, I only feel emptiness at this point. Anyway, let me know what you all think. They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but why did Hoyo decide that this pathetic excuse of an endgame mode was better than their already working concepts introduced in Honkai Star Rail? Or maybe they decided that nothing was broken, and they can just push out whatever nonsense that they actually want players to use. Was this just a lazy tactic to appease players, or do they really just not know what they're doing anymore? They have actually made a post regarding the concerns with this new game mode, and this is the first time that Hoyo has responded in like 2 to 3 years, so I mean, that's a plus, but at this point, the ship has sailed, and Hoyo just... So to answer the question, what is endgame? It sure as hell ain't what Genshin did. Go ahead and consider hitting that like button if you enjoyed this video, and also go ahead and check this video out to see exactly what happened to the Chronicle Wish banner. Until next time, Enigma out.